So now that we know how to link our HTML document and our CSS file, let's head on over and learn what a CSS rule is. So whenever you're writing CSS, inside the CSS file or your CSS files, you have a bunch of rules, okay? And collectively, those rules will be used to style your page. Now let's look at an individual rule. So an individual rule, we call this a CSS rule set, okay? And it consists of a body, okay? It has the opening and closing curly brace, and in this case it has background color purple. So this first portion that you use is called the selector. All right, so all you're doing is saying in my HTML page, what are the elements that I want to target, that I want this style to be applied to, okay? And so when the browser sees that you have body here, it knows that it should apply the style to the body element only. Now, once you have the selector, then you need to provide a CSS declaration, which simply is the property that you want to change or you want to style and the value that that property should have. So in this case, I want to style the body element whereby its background color is purple, okay? And so we can have many of these CSS declarations. Each one has to be separated by a semicolon. Now collectively, these declarations, right, together inside the opening and closing curly brace, we call it a declaration block. Okay, so this is a declaration block. Okay, again, just terminology. What you must take away is you need to say which element you're targeting, and inside the curly braces, what do you want to do to those elements style wise. All right, so enough of the talking. Let's head over to our CSS and HTML and add a style. I'm going to come here. Let's make a comment. My first CSS rule set. Okay, so I'm going to target the body. So the selector will be body. And then I'm going to say what I want to do to the body. I want to access the background color property. And I'm going to specify a color. Let's just go with blue violet, okay? And that's it. So the name in this case, blue violet, should not be in strings, okay? So do not do this, okay? Don't do that. It's supposed to simply be the name of the color, okay? Now I have installed an extension that allows me to have this color specified, okay? So if you don't see this little box with the color, don't be concerned. It's simply that I have an extension. Okay. In any case, this is the rule set. And so when I start up my Go Live server, I notice that the background color is purple, right? It looks purple. Now if I go to inspect, okay, and I come over here to element and I click on body, right? Then of course you'll notice that the CSS over here, right, tells me that it's blue violet. All right, so something to keep in mind. All right, and one more thing I want to do All right, and it is to discuss the idea of what happens when I have multiple CSS declarations. Okay, so let's say I add another background color. Okay, but this time I change this to maybe red, and then I change this one to pink. Okay, so there are different colors, however they target the same property. Okay, so think about it. What will the color be for the background property of the body element? Will it be the first one, the second one, or the last one? Well, if I had to take a guess, I would say that it would be the last one. Okay, let's see if that's true. And that is true. Okay, so the first takeaway that I want you to understand when it comes to writing these CSS declarations, and that's right here, the last declaration wins every time. Okay, if it targets the same selector, of course, and the same property on that selector. Okay, all right, so if I have 3 declarations, each targeting the background color of the body, well, then the last one is the one that the browser will use. Okay, so it will of course see violet, but then later on it will see red, and then finally it will see pink. And so at the end of the day, this is the one that you will see. Okay, background color pink. So that's just the first thing you need to keep in mind when you're working with these CSS declarations. The order matters. I'll leave it here, and when we come back, we will dive a bit deeper with color. I'll see you then.